Hello? Hi, everyone. I've got some code I'm going to send your way in a few minutes, and I wanted to just explain what I've done with the code and show you how to apply it yourself to do a customization that's sort of resembles the virtual Asian American Museum project that I did, which was kind of like the wackiest custom job because I've essentially removed everything and made the whole thing responsive, like a big full screen 100% width type of layout. The reason for that was really just to, and that wasn't for all pages, that was really just for the home page and a few other areas. But the reason for that was to get a real sort of immersive gallery type of look and not be constrained to this kind of narrow text column type of thing that you would have in a more traditional book. So what I'm going to show you here is where you put the code and then some of the code that you might want to put to control different things. So this is actually not the home page of my project. This is a secondary page I made that has no style, no customization. Sorry, let me just hide this down, bring this down a little bit. Okay. So there's no custom styles associated with this page. It's a classic scalar layout. I just pasted some ipsum in here. And I can go into edit this page. Hello, it's just being slow. Okay. And if you scroll down to the style section, you'll see that I have added no styles here. All right, but this is where you would put the CSS if you were to tweak this page. Now let me show you another page that I created, which is the home page. Okay, so with just really, I don't know, 20 lines of code or so, not even, I was able to sort of completely remove all basic structures and have a responsive full screen layout. Let's see if I can show you how this might look. Okay, so it should probably look okay down on a tablet. I'm not sure about phone. Would need to do some more testing. But regardless, so one thing you'll notice is like the edit and new buttons that you see are not even there. They got a little sort of like tweaked when I removed a lot of the main page structure, and they're here. They're just in the top left corner, and I dropped the opacity so you can barely see them. Normally, there's no reason to do that because your readers will not be logged in and therefore won't see those. But in this particular case, or at least the code that I had copied from, was for the virtual Asian American Museum project, and I always had to be logged in whenever I presented it, and I didn't want people to notice the new and the edit buttons, so that's why I hid them. But they're up here in the corner. I'm going to edit this page that I'm on right now and show you the CSS that I put here. Okay, so I have put one image in here. This image is, I use an inline piece of media. And if we scroll down to the CSS, you'll see that put a little bit of stuff down here. Not a whole lot. Maybe there's more than 20 lines, but there's not a ton of stuff here. Put some comments, main structural changes. So if you inspect a scalar page, you'll see that there's some basic things that control it. There's a div on the side called left. There's a middle. There's a middle. Middle. Oh, I got middle twice here. Sorry, I just copied this code, but you can see it doesn't affect anything. I've got a middle column that's an ID. There's a content wrapper. There's a footer. So you can go explore how those things are set up. But you'll see here that I've basically set like max width to 100%. Made a lot of the background stuff transparent because by default I think it comes out gray, and I didn't want that. Here I've removed the scalar nav. This literally removes it. If I wanted to hide it, I would just put visibility hidden instead of display none. I put here in the comment that this is not recommended, only because if you remove the scalar nav, you're removing a lot of the main the sort of functionality of scalar. You don't get to change your views and load tag visualization views or other types of visualizations. You don't have a search option, and you don't even have the main navigation from the author. So be aware of that stuff, that you're going to have to create all the navigation on your own if you choose to remove the scalar nav. Here's where I drop the opacity for that edit bar, so you could probably just remove this and things would be a lot easier for you. Background, cover, paragraph. So if you look up here, I've got some paragraphs. Let me just switch. I work in HTML, so I could put in like a little P with a class of intro. And here's the other P tags. You'll see here P, so font size. I'm using Railway, which is a script font face I got from Google Fonts, and I'll show you where I put the code to bring those in. This one has a font weight of 400, and there's one for a font weight of 600 for the first letter, right? So it's a little bolder, and I made it red. Then here, the inline media view. So whenever you bring in inline media with this icon right here, this will cause the text to wrap around it. Otherwise, you'll probably notice right away that the inline media takes up its whole a whole row of space. So there's no text on either side of it. I wanted to go for more of a magazine type of look, and so the floating will cause text to wrap, and the margins will keep the text from literally touching the media element. And then this one down here is for the font size for it. It's the description or the caption. I want it to be really small, but you could change that. You'll also see that I put important at the ends of some of these, because if you don't do that, the CSS for media element that comes with Scalar will override this, and you'll find that things won't work. So if I want Scalar to pay attention, or the browser to pay attention to this particular code, I have to put important, and this will now trump all other scripts dealing with the media element. Okay, so that's how you do that. The CSS that you'll see here only affects one page. It only affects the page that I'm on. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing. One is you might not want every page in your Scalar project to look identical. So in that case, things that are unique to specific pages you put in their CSS, okay, in that page's CSS. If I want to have a style that affects every page in my entire book, think of it like putting it in an external CSS document that links to every page of your project, and you access that by going to the dashboard up in the top right corner. And once I'm in the dashboard, CSS that I put here will affect every page in the entire project. All right, and JavaScript that I put here will affect every page in the entire project. And you'll see that this is where I chose to put the JavaScript from the Google Web Fonts, because I want to have every page in my Scalar book pulling with the displaying the same fonts. Okay, and here you can see the Railway with the weights of 400 and the weights of 600. Okay, so CSS that goes here affects every page. CSS that goes in one particular page will only affect that page. And note that if you put CSS into a page that holds a path, then all the contents of that path, right, all those children pages of the path will also take on the CSS. All right, so be aware of that. And I think that kind of covers all the basics. There's actually, you know what, there's one thing I'll show you really quickly. And that is, let's go to page 2. How do you do other styles aside from the ones that I sent to you? I use the inspect element in Chrome, but you could use like Firebug in Firefox, or Safari's got its own version. But basically you're just viewing the source code of the page. Sorry that this is being so slow. Did I even click it? Okay, finally. So the way that I got to figuring out about the different styles, the left and the scalar nav and the content div and whatnot, is just by right-clicking on elements and clicking inspect element. That pulls up this guy down at the bottom here, and I can pull this up, and I can even use the little magnifying glass that you see here, and I can hover over different parts of my page and see what is what. So here, H4 content title. Okay, so if I wanted this to be blue and really big, I can go here and see, like, here's the content title. All right, and I would copy that, and I would edit the page. Or if I wanted it to be on every page in my Scalar book, I would go to the dashboard and put it in the CSS there. Sorry, this is so slow. All right, well, Scalar is, it's either my browser or Scalar, but whatever, things have slowed down too much. But if I hit edit and I go to my CSS, I can put in a reference to this rule here. So class content underscore title, and then I can write in the curly brackets, and I can put in different font size, different colors, things like that. Okay. So here, this page is finally loaded. Let me see if this will work. Paste this here. All right, content title, put some curly brackets, and we could put like a font size of 36 pixels and a color of 345, which is like a blue, dark blue. Ooh. And notice when I right-clicked on it up here, it said H4 content title. So I'd have to play around and see, do I need the H4 or will content title, are there different, is there an H2 content title used somewhere else in Scalar? And I might want to not affect all content titles, but just H4. That would be something you might want to play around with. I might as well put in the H4 right now. Let's see what happens here. All right, so there it is, sort of a darkish, grayish blue and much larger. All right, so, and if I wanted this now to be affected on all pages, I would have just put that code here in the dashboard, and you can go through and really figure out all the different parts of the Scalar page and tweak the width. So here's the content wrapper. Just note that sometimes you've got a content wrapper that then has a content class inside of it. Both of those would need to be, you'd have to adjust the width. And I think I've given you a pretty good head start on the home page of this. So if you look at the scripts there, you should be able to see the basic structures for controlling the overall look. And I'll also copy this code and send it along to you all shortly. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I'll be around later on in the week to go over any questions and maybe get a little bit more in depth to some of the customizations that I've been working on. Okay, so good luck and talk soon. Bye.